In the annals of history, few events have captivated the imagination as profoundly as the fall of the Roman Empire. Once a sprawling entity that stretched from the windswept hills of Britain to the sun-soaked sands of Egypt, the empire by the 5th century AD found itself teetering on the brink of collapse. But what led to this monumental decline? And what if the empire had never fallen? Let us journey through the crumbling edifice of Rome and explore the echoes of its legacy. The fall of the Roman Empire is often attributed to a confluence of internal strife and external pressures. Internally, the empire was plagued by political instability. A seemingly endless parade of emperors rose and fell, many of them through violent coups or assassination. This lack of stable leadership created a vacuum of authority, leading to corruption and inefficiency. The Senate, once a powerful body, became a mere shadow, filled with self-serving aristocrats more concerned with their own wealth than the welfare of the state. Economically, the empire faced monumental challenges. Over-reliance on slave labor stunted technological advancement, and rampant inflation eroded the value of currency. Heavy taxation burdened the peasantry, leading to widespread discontent and revolt. The vital trade networks that once flowed with goods began to falter as the empire's borders became less secure, and the once splendid cities fell into disrepair. Externally, the empire faced relentless pressure from invading tribes. The Visigoths, Ostrogoths, Vandals and Huns surged across the frontiers, drawn by the promise of plunder and the weakening Roman defences. The sack of Rome in 410 AD by the Visigoths, led by their king Alaric, was a poignant symbol of the empire's decline. A city that had once been the epitome of civilization was reduced to a target for barbarian conquest. As the Western Roman Empire crumbled, the Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, managed to survive for almost another 1,000 years. Yet the fall of the West in 476 AD marked the end of an era, leading to a fragmentation of Europe into smaller feudal kingdoms. The cultural and knowledge-rich legacy of Rome began to fade, giving rise to what would later be termed the Dark Ages. Trade routes deteriorated, literacy declined, and Europe was engulfed in a cycle of local conflicts and power struggles. But let us pause for a moment and ponder a question that has intrigued historians and dreamers alike. What if Rome had never fallen? What if the empire had managed to withstand the internal strife and external pressures that ultimately led to its collapse? Imagine a world where the Roman Empire not only survived but thrived, adapting to the challenges of the late antiquity. In this alternate scenario, the political fragmentation that followed the fall never took place. Instead of a patchwork of feudal territories, the empire reformed its governance, perhaps establishing a more representative Senate that could incorporate the voices of the provinces. This newfound political stability might have prevented the rampant corruption that plagued the latter years of the empire. With a more robust government, the economy could have stabilized as well. Instead of relying heavily on slave labor, the empire may have innovated, investing in technologies that improved agricultural yields and facilitated trade. Imagine the Roman roads, already marvels of engineering, expanded and maintained, connecting distant corners of the empire more efficiently. The silk trade with the East would flourish, leading to an unprecedented exchange of goods, ideas and cultures. Culturally, the preservation of knowledge could have taken a different path. The libraries of Alexandria, Rome, and other centers of learning might have remained vibrant, allowing for the continued development of philosophy, science, and the arts. The ideas of thinkers like Seneca, Cicero, and Galen could have been built upon, paving the way for advancements that shaped the Renaissance centuries earlier. As for the military, a resilient Roman Empire would likely have adapted to the changing dynamics of warfare. Rather than a slow decline, the legions could have reformed, incorporating new tactics and technologies influenced by the tribes at their borders. This adaptability might have helped to integrate these tribes rather than repel them, creating a more cohesive empire that embraced diversity rather than fearing it. However, this imagined continuity would not come without its challenges. The empire would still face pressures from emerging powers. The Persians in the east would remain a formidable opponent, and the Germanic tribes would continue to pose a threat. Yet, a united and adaptive Roman Empire may have found ways to negotiate and coalesce with these groups, integrating them into the fabric of the empire rather than simply viewing them as adversaries. Imagine a scenario where Germanic warriors serve in Roman legions, their leaders gaining titles within the Roman hierarchy, creating a multicultural identity that blends Roman and barbarian traditions. As the centuries rolled on in this alternate reality, the Roman Empire could have evolved into a dominant force in a world otherwise familiar with fragmentation and strife. With its vast resources and cultural prowess, it might have established an early form of global trade networks that connected not just Europe, but also Africa, Asia, and even the Americas. With the empire's influence extending far and wide, we might see early explorations of the New World, driven by Roman traders and explorers seeking new resources and trade routes. The continuation of a unified Roman Empire could have led to a different trajectory for Europe. Instead of the feudalism that emerged after the fall, society might have developed a more structured bureaucratic system that prioritized merit over birthright. Cities would flourish, and the population might experience a renaissance of civic pride and public life, with grand architecture and art reflecting the empire's enduring legacy. Education would also transform. With an emphasis on literacy and philosophy, a more educated populace might have emerged, leading to advancements in science, mathematics, and technology. The works of ancient scholars would be preserved and built upon, perhaps resulting in the early development of concepts like democracy, human rights, and scientific inquiry long before the Age of Enlightenment.